Looking at some of your work online, and I even watched some of the videos that are out there about your work.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that got to me, and we'll talk about other things as well, but one of the things that got to me was that I was watching one of the videos, and I think you mentioned that you don't like to work with very traditional styles. What did you mean by that?
Okay. I should rephrase that. It's not that I don't like to do the traditional styles. It's that sometimes I can't bring it's every designer has their signature. And for me, I'd rather do more contemporary or even crazy stuff. You know, the traditional style I'm not familiar with. And it's not that I'm not familiar with. It's just that I don't see myself doing my best in that because it's not my vision and it's not my design ethos. So for me, it's more difficult for me to execute something that's very, very traditional. It doesn't mean it's not possible. There's just going to be a lot of research that goes into it. You know, we study all of the different styles when we're in school, but you know, every designers sort of have their vision of how they want to see spaces that they create. And for me, traditional is not my strong area. And I will put my hand up for that. If you're asking me to do a palazzo for you that is very traditional, you know, all the money in the world, I cannot take your project because I know I won't do a good job. And that's just me being very honest, right? And every designer should say that, you know, if I've said no to so many projects because of that. Like certain things, I just wouldn't go there because I don't want my client to not be happy with, you know, like they're paying you to do a job and you need to do a good job. So if you know you're not really good at that stuff, you should speak up and say, you know what, I'm not the person for you.
Right.
So,
It's important to make the style clear.
yeah. And it's also not to mislead them, right? Like you tell them, yeah, I can do it. And then, you know, they expect you to do it and then you come up with something else and they're not going to be happy, right?
You mentioned that you're an art junkie, but also I was wondering, what role would you say something like multiculturality play in your work? Does it play an important role, for example, in the way in which you source elements of your interior design pieces?
Not necessarily culturally. I would say my design style is more maximalism. I don't know if you're familiar with that term. It's sort of, it's a lot of bold patterns. It's a lot of colors. It's a lot of things that don't really go together. And you're going to tell me, oh my God, this sounds like a disaster, Nora. But somehow it works. That's my style. So I like to provoke people when it comes to interior. I don't like to follow rules. You know, certain things, if you tell me, oh, you have to do certain things certain way, like, you know, proportionally, this doesn't look right. Well, for me, I'm looking at it in an artistic view. And also, you know, again, I'm going to keep expressing the word, personality. That's what I focus on in most of my interiors. You know, I want the client to feel that once they enter that space, it's all about them or all about what they want to convey. So, you know, like you said, culturally, yeah, I have a lot of cultural influences from different things that I've seen or different shows that I've been to. They're all great and they're all great sort of, a library in my head in a way. And when I find a project that could apply to that, you know, specific, design style, then I would use it. But most importantly for me, it's all about the client's personality. It's all about, or even a brand, right? If I'm representing a client that's doing commercial space, I have to know what their brand is about. And that's sort of my ingredient for every project. I have to find out what it means for me to create the space and to showcase what they give me as a brand.